Today we're going to start using Microsoft Access, and Microsoft Access is a database program, and always when you're using a sophisticated database program, you always save first. So I'm going to just go over how to do that. It's called creating. So when we get into Microsoft Access, it looks something like this. We'll go to, I always call this file or the Microsoft icon. I think on your sheet I call it file. We'll go to the Microsoft icon or file and say new. And then once you go to new, you'll see on the far right side bottom, there is a place where you can call create. But more importantly, I want you to see over here is this little folder, because we're going to be saving it in the folder. I don't want it to get lost. So the file name, I told you, if you look at your sheet, you're going to call it stars and your name. So I'm going to call this stars. Not clicking in there for some reason. I'm hitting the cap lock instead of the S. There we go. Stars and your name. And the reason I like you to do that is in case you lose it, because it is kind of tricky to save it. So there it is, stars and my name, but I want you to make sure you go under this little folder. Will take you to your personal folder. So I'm going to click on that. And here we are in my documents, and I'm going to find my name, and this is for 6th grade, so I'm going to go to 6B. This is my 6B, and I'm going to call this, it looks like I've created these before. Oh yeah, there's those S's. I couldn't see them, I had it scrunched. Okay, so it's going to be called stars. Last year, so I'm going to call this 4, since I have a few of them, and say OK. So you just click OK. So again, you go to Documents and then your folder, and then you name it stars and your first and last name, and click OK. And there it is right now in here, and all I have to do now is click Create. Once I click Create, I am in the data sheet view, and I want to be in the design view. So you could actually add the fields this way and put them up here, but I'm going to add the fields in the other view, which is the design view. So up here is an important tool. It's in the data sheet ribbon, and I'm going to go to View, and I'm going to go to Design View. And when you go to Design View, you're also going to save it again, and I want you to call it your first and last name. This is going to be at the top of the paper, so make sure you save the table as your first and last name, and then stars again. So this is a table inside the database. You could have a couple tables inside the database, but we're going to call this Martin Stars, and click OK. And now I'm in Design View. Now yours is going to look a lot bigger. My screen is scrunched up. Automatically comes up the ID number, which is an auto number. That's called the primary key. I'm going to leave that one. In fact, on your sheet it says, do you want to save it as a primary key, and say yes, but I'm just going to say that is the primary key, and we'll leave it. And so after that, if you'll look at your sheet, you're going to do these separate fields. The first field is called first, and the data type is text. The next field is last, and the day or B-day is not text, but it is date. And the next one is city born, and that's text. State born, text. And the last one is known. This field does mean you're just going to check off whether you know this celebrity or the star or not. And so I'm going to make this a yes, no, because we're just going to have a little check box, or a tick box, they call it. So there it is. Double check your sheet to make sure you've done it right. Text, text. B-day is date and time. City born is text. State born is text. And known is a yes and no quality. When you're done with that, you're going to go back to we were in the design view. We're going to go back to the data sheet view. And now it's going to look, it says you must save the table first. We're going to say yes. And at this time, you might want to save it. So now I'm in the field. You're not going to type anything in the ID field, because that's going to be an auto number that comes up. But the first thing you're going to do is put your first celebrity or star, and I'm going to have Clint Eastwood. I'm going to go back and fix that so I have it. Make sure you capitalize. Actually, when you're in the design view, make sure you capitalize first, the F in first, the L in last, the B in birthday. And then when you're typing each celebrity's name, make sure you capitalize it. And he was born on 5/31, 1930. Let's see if it'll just pull up and see what happens. And it came up already, 1930, like date and time. So that accepted it. Sometimes if it rejects it, you might not have typed your date correctly. And it might not understand. It won't accept it unless you type the date correctly. I think you can even use hyphens. But if you start writing it or do extra space, it will not read it. And then city born and state born and known. And here's what the known field looks like. I don't have to type that in. You can do that. Here's the known, and it's just a tick box. So if you say, yes, I know Clint Eastwood, or no, you don't. So yes, if you click the tick box. And that's the lesson for today. That is how we create a table in a database in Microsoft Access. Thank you so much, and good luck on your assignment.